What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky from Video Homicide, and as you can tell, the last little while I've really been digging into the collection and trying to watch all the stuff that I'd had on the shelves here that I just haven't watched. So one of those things that I have a lot of that I've never really dug into that deep is quite a few films by a director named Mario Bava, who is an Italian director, got a lot of his fame through, I believe, the late 50s into the 60s, and I'm not sure exactly when he passed, but his son, Lamberto Bava, came along and started creating some monumental films in his own right, movies like Demons, movies like Macabre, which is a movie I want to talk about soon. I'm due to rewatch that. That's a really good movie. But tonight we're going to be talking about, I don't have a case for this, unfortunately, Blood and Black Lace.
Oceans, Blood and Black Lace.
Which is a Giallo film from 1964, which is the same year that my dad's born and my mom's born. And it's probably the earliest Giallo that I've watched, and it was really enjoyable, and it had some really interesting kills. Like, I believe the last Giallo I watched would have been What Have They Done to Solange, and my complaint in that film was they didn't show the killings. In this film, they show the killings, and they show some pretty cool technical shots, which I really respect. You know, being a fellow filmmaker myself, I'm always looking for like a really cool shot and making myself wonder, how the fuck did they do that? So the story behind Blood and Black Lace, since I don't have a back cover to read off of, is there's this, I guess, like a fashion show happening, and at this fashion show, some of these girls, or one of these girls, is entwined with this man who's a cocaine addict, and the woman is killed. And then right off the bat, you're kind of, you know, like these Giallo films, you're trying to wonder who's the killer. And it does a good job of like not really leaving a lot of clues. But once you find out who the killer is, it kind of rides with that for, I would say, maybe the last 15 to 20 minutes of the film, which I'm fine with. But anyways, so during this fashion show, we got a killer on the loose, and he's knocking off these chicks that know about this secret. And the secret I'm not going to get into because I think this movie deserves a lot of respect and a lot of kudos. Of course, it being a Mario Bava film, but of course, it being an earlier Giallo. And with Giallo films, they're sort of whodunit film. Well, they're whodunit films. So I don't want to get into that. Same with, like, you know, if you were describing Psycho. I mean, I know I say that all the time, but you just don't want to give away certain films, and this is one of them. So I will recommend checking this film out. And then, you know, keeping in mind that it is from 1964, whereas a lot of like your Argento Giallos, Pieces, all that kind of stuff, that's 70s era, even into the early 80s. So definitely keep that in mind. You're not going to get like total, you know, guts being like ripped open and like all that kind of stuff. With this film, it's more just like some decent kills that are pretty shocking. A lot of like kind of strangulations and stuff like that, which is fine. Really did enjoy this one. And to talk about some of the kills without giving away the film, there's a really good one. Our killer at one point uses this, it's like a gardening tool. It reminded me of the weapon that Han used in Enter the Dragon at the end of the film when he was fighting Bruce Lee. It was like a hand thing that had spikes coming out of it, and he gets a chick right in the face with that, and they're trying to make it out like this killer is like a sex maniac. And one of my favorite things in this movie is a scene where the killer gets a hold of one of these chicks and he like burns her hand against the side of this wood stove, and then he just takes her face and just like crushes it against it, and she's burnt to shit. Crazy stuff. There's at one point the killer uses a notepad in order to you know, deliver a message to one of these girls he's about to kill because they're looking for something. And with that being said, once you see who picks up that notepad, you get an idea of who the killer might be. So Mario Bava, he's just a very well-respected filmmaker from his day. There's quite a few box sets out there available to pick up. So definitely stay tuned. I'm pretty sure he directed Black Sunday, and I'm pretty sure he directed Black Sabbath. So I have both those features, and I will be talking about them soon, hopefully. Once I watch them, I have a lot of stuff on the back burner, and a lot of sort of, you know, stuff from the 70s. Like I said in my last video, I think I said, like, I really want to get back to, like, you know, what it is that I love about this stuff, and that's exploring and finding new movies that I love, because you get sick of watching sort of, you know, the same old movies. I fell into a rut for a while where I wasn't really watching anything that I hadn't seen before, and that got stale. And of course, Netflix is just a joke. Like, sitting there, I've mentioned before that I've watched a lot of comedy films on Netflix, and that's basically all it's good for me. Other than that, and a few a few series, you know, but not too many. So with that being said, I definitely appreciate everybody for checking out the videos, and adios.